Chairman, John Hilsenrath from the Wall Street Journal. Many Americans are upset that gasoline prices are rising so fast and that food prices are also going up. Can you talk about whether there's anything that the Fed can or should do about that? And can you also elaborate on the increase that we've seen in the inflation forecast that the Fed put out today?
Sure. Thanks, John. So first of all, gasoline prices obviously have risen quite significantly. And we, of course, are watching that carefully, that higher gas prices are absolutely creating a great deal of financial hardship for a lot of people. Gas, of course, is a necessity. People need to drive to get to work. So it's obviously a very bad development to see gas prices rise so much. Higher gas prices, higher oil prices also make economic developments less favorable. On the one hand, obviously, the higher gas prices add to inflation. On the other hand, by draining purchasing power from households, higher gas prices are also bad for the recovery. They cause growth to decline as well. So it's a double whammy coming from higher gasoline prices. Now, our interpretation of the increase in gas prices is the economist's basic mantra of supply and demand. On the one hand, we have a rapidly growing global economy. Emerging market economies are growing very quickly, and their demand for commodities, including oil, is very, very strong. Indeed, essentially all of the increase in the demand for oil in the last couple of years, in the last decade, has come from emerging market economies. In the United States, our demand for oil, our imports, have actually been going down over time. So the demand is coming from a growing economy where we've seen about a 25% increase in emerging market output since before the crisis. And on the supply side, as everybody knows who watches television, we've seen disruptions in the Middle East and North Africa and Libya and in other places that have constrained supply. That supply has not been made up, and that in turn has driven gas prices up quite significantly. So again, this is a very adverse development. It accounts in the short run for the increase in our, pretty much almost all of the increase in our inflation forecast, at least in the very near term. There's not much the Federal Reserve can do about gas prices per se, at least not without derailing growth entirely, which is certainly not the right way to go. After all, the Fed can't create more oil. We don't control the growth rates of emerging market economies. What we can do is basically try to keep higher gas prices from passing into other prices and wages throughout the economy and creating a broader inflation, which would be much more difficult to extinguish. Again, our view is that most likely, of course we don't know for sure, but we'll be watching carefully, our view is that gas prices will not continue to rise at the recent pace, and as they stabilize or even come down, if situation stabilizes in the Middle East, that will provide some relief on the inflation front, but we'll have to watch it very carefully.